Howdy, y'all. Welcome back, or for the first time, to Pokezard's World. That's right, my brand new channel on YouTube. And I am, of course, the man himself, Pokezard. Or some of you may know me also as, of course, the Canadian Cowboy. Or, of course, my real name, Jeremy. Either way, it doesn't matter what my name is, what your name is, what's going on in the world, nothing matters. All that matters is that I am here today to tell you, thank you for your support. Thank you for supporting this channel. After one video, I have already 46 subscribers. The first intro video has, I believe, 130 views, which is pretty damn cool for a 4-minute little video about, well, not much. It's just my introduction. And speaking of introductions, I won't spend long on it, just to say that so my first video, I planned on making a big one, and here is a little lesson for you that I learned once again. So originally, this was supposed to be a very long video speaking on my top 100 video games of all time and the 2020 edition. Now, I recorded for almost 2 hours. I believe it was an hour and 45 minutes, and it was just 100 games, me going on for a while. I had just finished the gym. It was very hard. I think I never realized really how hard it could be to speak in the microphone for this long in a row. But either way, I realized while listening to it that it was too long, obviously, and that I was literally running out of breath by the end of it. That's not good. You know, you want to be able to really have a concrete video without suffering throughout. And I was suffering throughout, so bad idea. Now some may think, wow, what a waste of time. What a waste of time. And I say, no, you know what? Sure, it was almost 2 hours of my life. And in the end, that video is not going anywhere. But at least now I know what to do. You know, it's kind of a lesson to learn that not everything has to matter in the extreme sense. Everything is for a reason. You know, this video that I did for almost 2 hours, being too long or having issues, well, I got to learn what to not do next time or what to do better next time. So I think there's always a positive in every negative. So try to focus on that. Also, shout out to all of you who caught my baguette reference last week, because that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Anyways, so I've decided to basically have my top 100 video games edition of all time done in 5 parts, thanks to and shout out to Cole on Twitter for this great idea, because yeah, I think one video may be too long and everything, but to do 5 parts, so basically I'm going to be talking about 20 games in each video. So part 1 will be number 100 to 81, and then the rest will go on and so on for every video. So maybe it will just be easier to digest this way. Obviously, I will try to go on for shorter, and I will be able to spend more time on each video game and pace it better. So hopefully you're excited. Again, I will have so many different videos, so much variety, but for now I want to focus on this 5-part series just to start off this channel, because I think that giving you my top 100 video games in 2020, this edition, which I do yearly, I think it will give you a better sense of who I am as a gamer, which is very important here. So let's begin with my number 100. So yeah, 100 games is a lot. That's why it will be easier to go through 100 to 81. So without further ado, because it's been 4 minutes, which is not too bad. Better than I expected. Let's begin with number 100, The Walking Dead Season 2. The Walking Dead Season 2 is an amazing game. I really loved that we were given Clementine to play as. I loved Lee in the first game, but Clementine was a huge part of that game, Season 1. And playing as her and seeing how she kind of toughens up, the sorts of relationships that she comes across, the way that she learns how to survive, the way that she just comes into her own as a protagonist, the way that she really becomes this hardened survivor, I think she's great. Clementine is awesome. And as a game, you could really tell that Telltale Games, rest in peace, sort of, you could really tell that in this one they came into their own. They obviously fixed some bugs, fixed some things. The environments may look a little better. Now, either way, The Walking Dead was huge, obviously, as a TV show and phenomenon in general. That is why these games were made. And then The Walking Dead kind of went down, and so did, obviously, these games and Telltale as a whole. But The Walking Dead Season 2 is a game that means a lot to me, and I think it deserves number 100 as a spot for now. Then let's go forward to number 99. That's right, 99 more to go. Number 99 is, of course, one of the first PlayStation 2 exclusives, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. I am a big Sly Cooper fan. I loved Sucker Punch and how they basically handled this whole trilogy, excluding the fourth one. Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. It's just a game that really sets up this series/trilogy perfectly well. You know, Sly Cooper really is just this very charming character. He reminds me a lot of Nathan Drake, even though Sly Cooper came first. He's just this, I don't want to say Robin Hood, maybe he's a bit like Robin Hood, but he's just this very charismatic character who, he really loves his friends, but he also is just this kind of sneaky guy. And I mean, the game is all about stealth. It's a very stealth game. Sorry, Metal Gear Solid. But Sly Cooper was also there on the PlayStation 2. And yeah, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, you don't get to play as many characters like you do in 2 and 3. But I think the first one, even though I replayed it recently for the first time in a while, I think it just means a lot because even though 2 and 3 are probably better, the first one it knew what it was. To this day, it looks great. It plays well. It has fun collectibles. It has a fun platinum trophy. And even a great story overall. So I think Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus really deserves number 99. But what deserves number 98? Let's find out. Number 98 is, of course, Batman, the Telltale series. Now, Batman will probably appear on this list once again, or twice again. But number 98 is, of course, by the old and perhaps dead Telltale Studio. Batman, the Telltale series is basically Season 1. I loved and played Season 2, but I think Season 1 is more appropriate for this kind of list because Season 1, we were all like, Telltale's kind of being weird. They're also in their prime, who knows, you know. And then Batman Season 1 came out, and we're all like, holy shit. You could actually choose which kind of Batman you're playing as, whether you want to feel more like Bruce Wayne or Batman. That's pretty huge because I can't think of a single game for Batman, I guess, or even any kind of medium where you sort of get to choose, okay, am I going to be Bruce Wayne completely? Am I going to be Batman completely? Do I want to put fear in my enemies? Do I want to make them, kind of be on my side? Like, there's a lot of gray in this. It's not just black and white. It's really just a lot of gray of, okay, do I betray Alfred? Do I trust Selena? Do I answer this way to Joker? And yeah, even Joker himself, I mean, I think his name is Jerome in the game, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably wrong. Or John Doe. John Doe is his name. And he is actually one of my favorite Jokers of all time. Obviously, shout out to Heath Ledger and to Phoenix, yes. I'm forgetting his first name. Forgive me. Joaquin Phoenix, of course. That was really awkward. But either way, Joker has always been one of the most beloved characters of all time. And I think John Doe in the Telltale Batman series was incredible. I mean, really incredible. One of my favorites. And of course, as a game, it just has a lot of quick-time events, a lot of moments. And you could really feel like Batman Telltale series improved in a lot of ways from the early days of Walking Dead Season 1 and 2 and other Telltale games. So a big shout out to Batman the Telltale series. Number 97 is quite the underrated game. Now this one is, of course, Mad Max, which was for a lot of us the movie of the year in 2015. And this came out, I believe, the same year. And of course the issue is it came out the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Not a great time to release. Everyone was so excited for Metal Gear Solid 5, including me, that Mad Max just kind of, even though it won Movie of the Year, it won a ton of Oscars and awards in general, and praise. Mad Max, the game, I would say honestly, is obviously not as good or strong as the movie, because the movie is really a technical feat. But it's still a great game. Like Mad Max, the game it's fun. It's a big open world game. You know, a lot of desert, a lot of emptiness. But using the buggy and having a little partner with you, I forget his name, it's a lot of fun. It feels like what, I never played Twisted Metal, forgive me, but it feels a lot like this is what Twisted Metal would be in 2015. And the story itself was great. Again, it was actually a great story. It was solid. It had some emotional moments. The combat is literally straight out of Batman Arkham, the series. But either way, Mad Max, very, very fun game. I think it's underrated because of when it came out. Maybe because the movie was just so much better. But as a game, it's still very strong. And I think if you, let's say, find Mad Max for, I don't know, $15, $20 nowadays, anywhere, you should give it a try. I played for like 40 hours, and I got really lost in this world. So Mad Max, I recommend it. Next, we have, most importantly, my year of birth, sort of. Number 96. Number 96 is Watch Dogs, the first one. This one may be a little controversial, and I know I'm known for a lot of my controversial opinions, and Watch Dogs, the first one, is one of them. Now, this game, for context, I played it at launch when it came out on the PS4, and I loved this game right away because I think that, unlike a lot of people, I wasn't really excited for this game. I never really watched many trailers. I never really cared. I just kind of saw it when it came out. Oh, it's getting some pretty good reviews, some pretty great reviews. I believe he has an 80 on Metacritic. The protagonist looks like Batman a little bit. He feels like Batman in terms of how intense he is. And it just looked fun. And the thing is, I actually didn't like Watch Dogs 2. And I don't plan on buying Watch Dogs Legion. And I think it's because the first Watch Dogs has the right amount of hacking for me. I'm not a big fan of hacking. I'm not a big fan of too much techie stuff. So for the first Watch Dogs to just be this simple revenge story, Aiden Pierce, your main protagonist, who I actually really like. I really, really, really like Aiden Pierce. I understand he's not beloved by any means, and I could understand their criticisms, but I really liked Aiden Pierce because he was just this revenge-driven character who really persevered through this whole journey. And I don't know why. Maybe I was just much younger 6 years ago, 7 years ago, but I just really, really loved him. And I even liked the cast of characters around him. I loved, in general, any time I was in the car or walking around, and I had our music player, obviously, to choose from because technology. I love the set pieces. I think this game is full of moments, full of epic gameplay moments. And I'm glad the hacking was limited. I'm glad it wasn't this crazy advanced game, because then Watch Dogs 2, I didn't like because it was much further. So maybe I'm just not a fan of too much hacking. Not a fan of that Deus Ex. But yeah, so I know it's controversial, but number 96, Watch Dogs, I think it deserves its spot. For now, keep in mind, this is a top 100 games, and a lot of these games in next year, in 2 years, in 3 years, will probably leave this list and get replaced by someone even better. So it's just a fun list to do every year, I think, to see what changes, what stays, what gets replaced, how I feel about this. Does my number, 20 become number 80? Does a game that was off my list for the longest time return to number 50? Who knows? That's the point of this. It's just for fun. And I hope you enjoy it as I am enjoying this. Number 95. Not as cool as number 96 because of my, of course, year of birth. But it doesn't matter because number 95, it's still pretty worthy. Number 95 is the first Uncharted, Drake's Fortune. I am a big Naughty Dog fan. I am a big Uncharted fan. And for me, Naughty Dog really started with Crash Bandicoot. I love that trilogy. I loved everything about that racing game. I loved everything about the original Crash Bandicoot. He really was the mascot for PlayStation, and he really was just this fun platformer that was next to Mario in a lot of ways. And then, of course, I actually really loved the Jak and Daxter series. It really, for some reason, I don't know why it clicked with me, and I especially loved the first one, the Precursor Legacy. It's not on this list, but I still love the game. And to see Naughty Dog go from Crash Bandicoot to Jak and Daxter to, of course, Uncharted, and then The Last of Us, And the first Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, it just works so fucking well. I've played this game maybe 3 or 4 times to this day. It ages very well, even in 2020 or 2019. It's an amazing game. Obviously, Uncharted games, they only get better for the most part. My favorite, I won't spoil it, but it's not the first one, obviously. But the first one is just this solid, amazing game that right away it sets up why you should care about Nathan Drake, Sully, Elena. Not only 3 of them, but you really care about them. And you could really see the evolution of this trio of characters, the couple and the old best friend men. And you could really see it from Uncharted 1 all the way through Uncharted 4. And you could really see just the evolution and the history and love between all of them. It's very, very special. And yeah, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, as a game, it's basically set in the jungle. And I think what's fun about it is that every Uncharted feels like it's set in a different area for the most part. Maybe different country even. And this one, again, not very advanced mechanically. It still looks pretty damn good. It still feels pretty damn good. And yeah, it's basically, your average or daily or whatever Indiana Jones game. And that's the point. It's supposed to be this fun popcorn flick. And a lot of us enjoy watching, let's say, Fast and Furious in theaters or these kinds of crazy movies, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. And Uncharted is basically, or at least started off that way. It's full of fun set pieces, moments, laughter. It's a very funny game, honestly. And yeah, so Uncharted Drake's Fortune deserves its spot as number 95 on this glorious list. Moving on to number 94. Number 94 is a game by the man who once said, "Fuck the Oscars." Can you guess who that is? I'll give you a moment. Guess who the man who said, "Fuck the Oscars" is. Have you guessed yet? Okay. So whether or not you've guessed, well, too bad. His name, of course, is Joseph Fares. Joseph Fares is a big part, obviously, him and his team behind A Way Out at number 94. A Way Out is basically this co-op game where I'm not usually a fan of co-op games or multiplayer games or online games, but A Way Out is basically this game where you play as 2 different characters, Leo and Vincent, and I believe this can only be played locally. I believe you can't play through online, and that's a big, big part of the charm of this game. Playing together with your friend or enemy or frenemy or lover or whoever else. And A Way Out, it's just this game that for some reason it reminds me a lot of Naughty Dog and Uncharted. It feels very polished, it feels very linear, and I guess it kind of has like a similar vibe. Just the idea of it's this third person game, third person shooter, and it just feels very solid. It just feels very much like, yeah, you're in this world. It's very believable. So I think in a lot of ways I was shocked by the production quality of this game. And yeah, so you play as one of you chooses to be Leo, one of you chooses to be Vincent, and I won't spoil anything, but it's really, I think, the kind of game that everybody in this world should experience. It's an incredible game just because of what it does in terms of co-op. You know, having your friend or partner next to you to look at their screen and to see what they're up to. You could literally basically see the other player or character in the game on your own screen. It's just a very, very trippy experience. It has a great story, has a lot of shocking twists, especially one shocking twist, emotional moments. It actually has one of my favorite boss battles ever, somehow, which is so weird. But yeah, so number 94, A Way Out. I'm shocked by this game. This game to this day still makes me go like, holy shit. You know what? Maybe it should be higher on this list. And that's the point of this list. Everything could always move or change for the most part. So shout out to you, Joseph Fares. Another shout out goes to number 93, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Now, what would Pokezard's list be without a PlayStation fighting game? It'd be nothing, I tell you. This game came out, and it came out, I believe, at the very, very end of the PlayStation 3 generation, and it is the only fighting game for PlayStation characters. Obviously, the studio sadly shut down, and the game itself, clearly not beloved. It's no Smash Brothers, But I really, really love this game. I think this game is a lot of fun. Obviously, the most fun that you could see with this game is the fact that there are all these PlayStation associated or owned characters, from Jak and Daxter to Kratos to Ratchet and Clank to Sackboy, to all these characters. And it's like Smash Bros has had like what, 5 games now, 6 games. So they've had time since the first one on 64 to really nail this down, and they created the best fighting game with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, of course. And PlayStation only tried once on the late PS3, and I think for a first try they did a pretty damn good job. It's very fun. It's very luck based. Like, it is one of those games where, yeah, there's a lot of bullshit. It's not necessarily all pure skills like in Smash Bros. Without items, but there's a lot of charm to this game. Again, just seeing the characters that you love, seeing the characters that you want to play as. It's like, this is the kind of game where I would love to see a second try, a third try. I think whether they hire Capcom as a developer or if they try somehow on their own, I think if they make a PlayStation All-Stars 2, especially with the PS4 cast of characters for PlayStation that they could add to this roster, they can make an incredible game. So please give it another chance, Sony. Please, please, we need another PlayStation All-Stars fighting game. Just get rid of the name Battle Royale, because in 2020, Battle Royale means something else. And speaking of something else, number 92 is Minecraft Story Mode. Yes, that's right. My third Telltale game on this list. Hopefully you're not disappointed. Minecraft Story Mode. It's funny because I've never liked Minecraft. I've never tried Minecraft. Obviously, Minecraft is like one of the biggest games of all time, literally, sales-wise, numbers-wise, praise-wise. And both of my brothers love Minecraft. For years now, they play it all the time. And I'm not really creative in the same sense, I guess. I'm not an artist. So for some reason, I just never want to try this game. And when Minecraft Story Mode from Telltale Games came out, I was like, okay, let's see what was going on. And then I think this game I played when I broke my arm for the second time in my life. Yes, I broke my arm 3 times by the end of it for some fun backstory. But Minecraft Story Mode, I believe, was 5 episodes. And I believe that it was episode 1, 2, 3 that came out. And then 4 and 5 were almost out. So I think I bought the game for cheap. And I played episodes 1, 2, 3. And I was like, wow, this is a lot of fun. This is a fun story. It shockingly has some emotional moments. It has shockingly well-written characters. It has shockingly good kind of action, QTE scenes. And I was like, wow, this is pretty impressive. Again, I think between the Batman Telltale games, between the Walking Dead Telltale games for the most part, and then the Minecraft Story Mode, I was like, wow, Telltale really could do good stuff. They just need a better engine. But they're good writers. And I guess they're good at just making you care about these characters. So for Minecraft, a game that never had a story in the past, for this to come out and have a story, it was like, wow. I just couldn't believe it, really. And yeah, they had a season 2, I think. I never played that. Maybe I should one day. But I really loved Minecraft Season 1, Story Mode. So I think it deserves its spot at number 92. And then we move on. Closer to number 90. We are halfway through this list, so not too bad for a first part. Let's keep going at this good pace. Number 91 is the first of many of this franchise. Number 91 is Yakuza 3. Yakuza is probably my favorite franchise in recent times. I'm sure I'll make a lot of videos about this, but Yakuza 3 was the earliest PlayStation 3 game from Yakuza that came out. And because of the remasters and the remakes and the new games, I think Yakuza 3 might be the one that's oldest in terms of the presentable latest release. So Yakuza 3 had a slight remaster on PS4, and it never had a remake like Kiwami's. So yeah, it's using the really, really old engine. And Yakuza 3, I love it, and it's here because of its story. I think the combat is good. I think it's serviceable. It's by no means anywhere near as good as the rest of the franchise kind of brings the combat to. But it's a fun action game in terms of combat. And activities-wise, again, that's the thing. You could really tell the world, it looks nice, and I love the area you go to. It's different than the rest of the games. It feels a bit more tropical for Kiryu. And even though Yakuza 1 and 2 and 0 really, really flesh out Kiryu, Yakuza 3, I think what it really excels at is making you care about Kiryu as a father. Because in this game, he adopts / takes care of like 12 kids, 12 or 13 kids. And so a lot of the game is basically spent at the orphanage. You do sub-stories with them, you play games with them, you do stuff with them. I can't think of a single game where you are a father figure, not by blood, but by adoption. And I think it's actually one of the most important stories to tell in a video game. I think it's done very well. It is kind of that thing of, you could tell they had some trouble balancing the Yakuza mafia stuff, with the kind of more loving and nice children's story. But either way, I think Yakuza 3 really excels at telling the story. I think it will forever be one of the many Yakuza games, but one of those that you could really, really feel Kiryu's kind heart, his heart of gold. And yeah, it's just a fun adventure. It's really sweet. It makes you emotional and laugh. And yeah, again, it's not perfect, but it's still a great game and deserves a spot on this top 100 list, because Yakuza games, for the most part, deserve a spot on this list. But I am biased. This is my list, of course. Now we approach to the big 9-0. 9-0. Number 90 goes to my favorite, or personal favorite, Infamous game. Infamous Second Son. My second entry from Sucker Punch over here for now. Infamous Second Son, I think, is a very, very, very fun game. And I think was a very strong launch year title for the PlayStation 4. I replayed Infamous 1 recently, and it doesn't age perfectly, but I still love the game. While Infamous 2, I replayed around the same time, and let me tell you, I did not love that. I thought it was the story itself I didn't love. I didn't love the characters. I didn't like that Cole had a new voice and it sounded weird. I think the first Infamous it felt like this kind of morally gray superhero story, and it felt very unexpected. So even though the second entry is better in terms of gameplay, I think 1 was just this more gray game, and that worked way better for me. So I cared much more about Cole and the story in Infamous 1. So when Infamous Second Son came out, in terms of gameplay, it's by far the best of the 3. It's by far. Infamous Second Son, you play as Delson. He's sort of this edgy guy, or teenager, or whatever he is. And yeah, I understand that people have an issue with him in terms of he's too edgy, or he's too crazy, or whatever. It's like, I think he was fun. I think it was fun to have this kind of wild card, this crazy character who, of course, you could choose if he's good or bad. And I did both because of the Platinum Trophy, but I mostly did the good run. And yeah, I think Delson is cool. I think he's not this incredibly well-written character, but I think he's pretty cool, and he's fun to play as. And that is what's most important, fun. But gameplay-wise, I mean, the 4 power sets you get, especially the neon one, it's like, holy shit. Visually-wise, it is a gorgeous game. The powers and the abilities look gorgeous and stunning. It's almost shocking how good they look. And yeah, story-wise, it's pretty good. I really liked his brother, Reggie. I like some of the villains. I think the game is great. I think it's a very solid game. And I think they could still make a better Infamous game than all 3 of these. But I think they need to dedicate more time to it. But still, I think Second Son is 6 years later being a little overlooked. So much love to you, Infamous Second Son. And now we enter the 80s. And I don't mean the real 80s because I wasn't born around then. Sorry. I'm a little younger than that. Thankfully. No, so number 89. We begin with our first of many, I'm sure, indie games on this list. So number 89 goes to the critically acclaimed, the beloved, the hit indie title, Undertale. Undertale. It came out back in 2015 on Steam, I believe. One of my coworkers forced me to play this game back in 2016 on PC, and I never played on PC. I'm console for life, so fuck you, PC. That's not where I play games. unless I really have to. But yeah, I played this game twice or 3 times. I forget. I played it on Steam. I played it on Switch. I played on PS4. So I guess I played this a game a few times for sure, not just once. So I have some pretty good knowledge over it. And yeah, so Undertale. I think Undertale is the kind of game that it really shows you what an indie game could be, what a creative game could be. It's kind of an RPG in some ways. It's like a little Western RPG in terms of some choices, dialogue choices, combat choices. And I mean, visually wise, it has a really, really, really nice art style. It has some just great... It has one of the very best indie soundtracks of all time. Like, straight up one of the very best. And then you kind of go, how is this game created by one person, Toby Fox? As far as I know. Unless he's lying, it's like, how the fuck? He's pretty talented, so I think it's pretty cool to see what indie games could be and what they could do with themselves. And yeah, Undertale is just a very strong game. It's of course a cult classic. I love the story, I love the decisions. I love that playing this game 2 or 3 times, I had different endings, different paths. It always felt like you were in control of your own journey, and the game is full of plot twists, weird shit, really, really strange things happen. But I love this game. I think this game is very, very interesting, very weird. And hopefully one day he fully releases Deltarune, because I played Deltarune, the first chapter on Switch, and I loved it. I thought, if this is fully complete, I could very much like it more than Undertale. So that's a pretty strong compliment. So keep working, Toby Fox. If you hear this, keep working. And we have somehow another indie game right after this one, which is number 88, and it goes to Fez. Fez was one of my very early indie games. I don't know if it was free on PS Plus or whatever, but I played this game and I fell in love, because you play as this little guy called Gomez, or a little girl, who knows, probably a little guy. And the whole point of Fez is you get to change the perspective. So obviously in life, there are so many, in a cheesy way, perspectives and ways to look at life and the world. And this game is all about that. It really is about changing every corner. So that's the main mechanic. You just change basically the outlook of the world, of the area, and you discover puzzles. You discover things around that you wouldn't have seen. The door, the entry, the exit. And the music itself is so good. Again, amazing soundtrack. I don't know why indie games are so good at soundtracks for some reason. But maybe it's because they don't rely on the overly, sometimes boring, orchestrated music. But I really, really loved Fez's soundtrack and world and feeling. Like, this game gave me a good feeling. I don't know what it is about it, but it gave me this good feeling that I was like, yeah, I want to be in this world. I want to go back to it. I want more of this. But it really does feel like one of the greatest indie experiences ever. And I don't think we'll ever see that again in this perspective. Until we go to, of course, number 87, where let us kill some Nazis, you know? Like, I know I'm Jewish, so maybe I'm a little biased, but let's kill some Nazis. That makes me laugh. But yeah, number 87 is Wolfenstein, The New Order. The first Wolfenstein since it returned to modern day, because yeah, I never played Wolfenstein or Doom back in the day. It just wasn't my thing, or I was too young or whatever. But Wolfenstein The New Order, amazing game, special game. I don't know why I also played this game when I had a broken arm. I know it's weird. A first-person shooter, you're going to play with your broken arm. I think I put it on easy. And I don't know how I use one arm or one hand, but I did it. So sorry. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I did it. And Wolfenstein The New Order, it's a very, very, very special game. I think there's an even better version of it later on. I won't spoil this list for the future. But Wolfenstein The New Order, developed, of course, by Bethesda's team. I want to say id Software, but I'm probably wrong. It's someone else. Machine Games. I believe it's Machine Games. But yeah, Wolfenstein The New Order, it really is all about, like, simply put, killing Nazis. And it almost feels like they're making fun of it, which I love. It almost feels like Inglourious Bastards, or like kind of zombies, I guess. How you really mindlessly kill zombies and it doesn't matter because they don't matter really, I guess, because they're dead. And killing Nazis in this game just feels, I guess, weirdly similar. I think maybe it's what they were going for. Maybe I'm just Jewish and biased. Who the fuck knows? Because I don't. And I didn't develop this game, of course. But yeah, Wolfenstein: The New Order, gameplay-wise, mechanics-wise, I love the futuristic guns. I love the futuristic gameplay. I love the outlook on this, this future where the Nazis won, sadly. Like, that's the future where the Nazis won. And as BJ Blazkowicz, a very likable character, and his team, you get to basically just go through these linear paths and get rid of Nazis. And yeah, again, I think this game as a trilogy, if they complete it, will be like one of the most perfect trilogies of all time. But much love to you, Wolfenstein: The New Order, because you helped me kill some Nazis. This is messed up. Let me go on to number 86. Number 86 is Until Dawn, a darling PlayStation published title. Until Dawn is a game that, of course, is just this sort of Telltale game, but much better in terms of engine because it's polished, it runs well. It's like 8 or 9 of you or 10 of you in the woods, and so it's a very relatable and typical, I guess, horror story that we've all seen, all played, all watched. But yeah, playing it with your friends or playing it with whether by yourself or with friends or whoever else, it is a very, very unique experience. It's scary, it's creepy. The fun for me and my friends was that we each basically associated a character like the jock or the girl, the crazy girl, or the girlfriend or the scientist, whatever it was. We associated all these characters with each other, and that was the fun of it. So whenever someone died, we're like, oh, you died, or I died, or oh, you fucked up, or you did this. And in this game, your decisions really matter because everyone can die. Anyone can die, so there are a lot of endings, a lot of different paths. But this game, yeah, the whole point is really just to make decisions and to kind of watch it, watch what happens, watch it all unfold. A lot of plot twists, a lot of cool moments. It's just a very, very amazing game. It's like, I wish we got a sequel, like wish we got a different kind of game the same way, but more of it in the same kind of polished way. But Until Dawn, I think will forever be one of the PlayStation 4 exclusives that people just love for good reason. And number 85 is another beloved game, of course, just like every game on this list. Number 85 is The Walking Dead Season 1. Now, yeah, earlier at number 100, I believe, I had The Walking Dead Season 2. But of course, Season 1 is still, I don't want to say it's better, but I think a lot of us still look at it very fondly. It's like the kind of game that it really was at its prime in terms of The Walking Dead. The show was so huge. The merchandise, the actors, everything about it was huge. So when this game came out, Walking Dead Season 1, people were like, holy shit, this is, like marketing-wise, people were like, yeah, let me play this. Let me see what it's about. And playing as the lovable Lee. Playing as the lovable Lee as your protagonist, and having Clementine there as the little girl who you kind of befriend and take care of. Lee was just very lovable, and I think the story itself you see everything through Lee's eyes. Even though a lot of the characters are shitty, you want to kill them, especially some of them. There were literally some characters I was like, when they died, I was either laughing or celebrating because I was like, yeah, you're pretty shitty, so thank God you're dead, even though this is the zombie apocalypse. But either way, The Walking Dead Season 1, very fun game, very sad game, very emotional game. It has one of the most iconic endings in the game, of course, as every list can say on YouTube. But yeah, Walking Dead Season 1, if you somehow haven't played Season 1 and 2, go play them. They're very important games, I think, in terms of storytelling and how far they could go. We are nearing the end of the video. Let me tell you about our sponsor. Jokes, I don't have a sponsor. It's just me. For now. Who knows one day, but no, I'm not going to put a sponsor. What the fuck? Number 84. 84 is the Ubisoft developed Nintendo Switch exclusive Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. One of my very, very favorite games of, I believe, 2017. And this game is basically a strategy game. And besides Fire Emblem, I haven't really played many strategy games like this. But this one is special because, Ubisoft developed this for Nintendo, which is very unique and fun as an idea itself. But playing as these Mario characters with the Rabbids, now I wish it was, of course, Rayman. I wish Rayman was somehow involved. I don't know why Ubisoft, you hate Rayman. It's kind of stupid, but whatever, I'll let it go for now, as I always do. This game is just fun. It's very colorful. It's very fun in terms of you're really, obviously, it's a hard game. Like, it's not easy by any means. You really are deciding, obviously, your moveset, like in Fire Emblem. You really are the one in control, and as a gameplay experience, it's one of the most rewarding experiences. I especially love the expansion, Donkey Kong, not Country, Donkey Kong, the expansion that came later on, I believe. I forgot what it's called. I think it has a name to it. But either way, I love the expansion. It was one of my favorite expansions in recent times. And as a game itself, Mario plus Rabbids, it's just very special. I think every Switch owner should buy this game. I mean, obviously, if you're old enough, because it could be challenging. The story is whatever. It's more of a cute little story or whatever. It's like silly as hell. But it's just a lot of fun. It's one of those games that really makes you go, I need a Switch. This is what the Switch could do. Have these fun deals with developers like Ubisoft. So, much love to you, Mario plus Rabbids. And hopefully we get a sequel or more from this game, because I think we all want more. Now, we get down to our last 3 on this video, part 1. Number 83, To the Moon. To the Moon is a very underrated and kind of low-key indie game. I know it has a little cult following, obviously. Sean from Twitter sent me towards this game, and ever since I've tried this game, it's like a 3, 4, 5 hour little indie experience, and it's just one of the cutest things. It's one of the saddest games. It has a very sound and kind of somber soundtrack. It has some hope to it. Like, you do feel like there's some hope to it. There's some joy to it. But it's just like this game that it's basically a top-down game. It's sort of like Undertale, which is a little bit RPG-like in some ways in terms of some choices and stuff like that. But the art style, the dialogue, again, it's not really gameplay-driven. It's mostly story-driven. So really anybody could play this game. I really recommend to play To the Moon, because I can't really spoil it. It's a really spoiler game. The ending is very sad. I'm pretty sure I cried, but I cry a lot in games, to be honest. And yeah, so I recommend to go play To the Moon. It's very cheap. I believe it just came on Switch. So if you have a Switch, you could play it there. And yeah, it's just one of those games that's it's cheap, it's short, it's amazing, it's affordable. It's a very special game, and I guess it makes you appreciate love stories, romance, and life itself. Because life itself, a lot of us are lucky to be alive, because not everybody is that lucky, sadly. So let us appreciate our lives. And then we go to the second to last. Number 82. Number 82 is Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. This game is somehow still only on, I believe, Steam and PlayStation 4. Ni no Kuni, I didn't play the first one yet. I plan to, don't worry. I really want to play the first one. I was waiting for the remaster, and now it came out, but I'm just busy. And I played the second one when it came out. As a JRPG that is more action RPG friendly, I love this game. I think it has a lot of flaws, to be honest, but it has a beautiful art style, obviously beautiful visuals. It has a great soundtrack, a shockingly good story. It's like the story itself, obviously it's very not repetitive, but it's very okay. So let's do this story beat, this story beat, this story beat, and you could tell they're using the same structure, just in different areas and different characters. But I still love the story. I think the story is really cute. It's really hopeful. It's just a very strong story in terms of how it comes together at the end and in the middle. And yeah, combat-wise, love the combat. I think it's a very fun game. It's too easy, I guess, but I still love the combat. It's just a fun, kind of flashy, almost like Nier Automata kind of combat system. I hated the little battle system where you go and it's like kind of like Pikmin. I hated that. It was very forced and annoying. I love the side quests. I think this game has a lot to offer. I think it definitely went under the radar, but this game I think more should play. I'm sure it's affordable today in 2020, so please go give it a try to Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. You won't regret it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, doggies and catsies, we are down to our number 81, which is the last game on this part of the video series. And then you will obviously get numbers 80 to whatever else, 60 something, 61 next time on the next video. But before I go, number 81, of course, goes to what is or was, I'm not sure anymore, my current Game of the Year 2020. And that is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is a very special game to me because I had never really experienced or played a Dragon Ball thing at all. I've watched a few movies here and there. I've never seen the anime. I've just seen a few movies. I guess the recent like Broly movie or whatever. the God one. But I never knew who Vegeta was. I never knew who Gogeta was. I never knew who Bulma really was, or Master Roshi. Like, I just never knew these characters. So to play this game for the first time was this incredible experience. Obviously, it's this action RPG, JRPG. So combat-wise, I'm shocked. It's one of the most fun games that I've played in a while, where you're flying around as basically Superman. And I love that you play as different characters, not just Goku. I love the story arcs. If you've watched the anime, this is literally the anime. They're using the same arcs. But playing it to me is more fun than watching it. I mean, for me at least. And yeah, I think many didn't care about this, but I cared because it was my first time experiencing Dragon Ball in any way. So to experience Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, so Goku's origins in a way as a man, it's like, wow. And the soundtrack was great. I think the world is great. I think it's fun to just play in general. Again, combat's incredible. But I really adore the story and the characters and the moments. A lot of sad moments, mostly funny and happy and silly moments. It's just a ridiculous game. It's one of those ridiculous games. I got the Platinum Trophy for it. I think I spent like 54 hours in this game. It has some of my favorite side missions with sub-stories in it. And it's just an amazing game. Again, I'm kind of debating between this and Ghost so far as Game of the Year, because this one really, really shocked me. I never expected to love this game or adore this game. But yeah, it's an amazing game, and I think Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, for now, deserves number 81. And I could totally see it going higher on this list. It will easily go higher on this list over time. So stay tuned for my list in 2021, in May 2021, when I have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot as my number one game. Jokes. But it will go higher. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this first video, my first official video on Pokezard's World. Please let me know if was this too long? Was it too short? Did you enjoy the pace? Did you enjoy what I did with this? Did you enjoy my thoughts? Did you agree, disagree? Please write in the comments. Please let me know if any of these games are some of your favorite games, if they would be on your top 100 list. Please, of course, subscribe and share around this video / this channel. Spread the word if you'd like. Give a dislike or a like if you like this or dislike this. Follow me on Twitter at Pokezard, Pokezard. Yeah, a little weird. But Pokezard, basically Pokemon plus Charizard. Anyways, thank you so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed this first part video of this 5-part series on my top 100 video games of all time, 2020 edition. And I hope you will tune in for next week when I have part 2. So stay tuned. I love you all. Goodbye.